Hello, welcome to the Sideboard here at the StarCityGames.com Open Series in Syracuse. I'm Nick Miller alongside multiple Open Series winner Gerard, Fabiano.
Hey Nick Miller, how are you doing?
Good. Already 2 Open wins this year.
Yep.
And now you want to give the people what they want.
I want to give the people what they want. I wrote my article and it went up yesterday. You guys voted for Jund. It was over 1,000 votes for Jund. So I played Jund, try to be a man of my word.
Right, you got a nice Jund mid-range deck here. You know, we've seen you play Sultai quite a bit. This has some of the pieces of that, but you're playing a more traditional Jund deck here. You've got your mana package, Caryatid, Wayfinder, Courser, along with some Thoughtseize holding it together. But then you got a pretty spicy list from that.
Yeah, basically I use Murderous Cut and Hero's Downfall to maintain their early board and use it as a removal spell. And then my card advantage is Xenagos and the Outpost Siege. But the main kind of tools of the deck, based on the 2 copies of Sidisi. Can I pick them up? It's good.
Oh, definitely.
We love Price
it.
is Right, yeah. And basically with Sidisi, you're allowed to play a lot of one-ofs because you could like tutor your deck. And you saw Reed Duke last week come second place with a Sidisi whip-based deck. And
it really showed what the card can do in a package that's playing for the late game.
I mean, the card is just great, especially with Satyr Wayfinder and with Xenagos, because you have fuel to kind of search your deck through sacrificing those creatures. And I already love Satyr Wayfinder, and it just makes it a lot better. Obviously, every Tassigers, but basically the one-ofs that I chose is kind of a display of powerful spells, because when you have a ramp deck, you don't want to ramp into like a Murderous Cut or a Hero's Downfall. Actually, Andy Boswell told me that yesterday, and it made perfect sense. You want to ramp into something really powerful. And with Sidisi, you could tutor up those powerful cards. You got Hornequeen, Garruk, Soul of Innistrad, Ugin, and one really awesome card from the new set. And it's right there. You could pronounce it better than me.
Dragonlord Atarka, I believe is how we're going.
So it's just super good. It's like Bogarted and Hellkite, I believe.
Yeah, you shoot down 5 power worth of creatures or planeswalkers.
Yeah, and plus it's an 8/8, so I mean, this deck is just definitely a really awesome deck if you love mid-range. It's tough not to play Sultai because obviously Treasure Cruise and Dig Through Time are great, but with this type of deck, you attack differently because you could close the game out a lot quicker. You know, you could just get a Sylvan Caryatid into a Xenagos, make a guy, all of a sudden you tick up Xenagos and you can just start playing your powerful threats.
Andrew Boswell, of course, a guy very familiar with the Jund strategies, you know, did very well at the Boston Grand Prix with Jund. Someone to listen to for a build like this.
Exactly.
Now, you posted the list on the website. You've kind of changed it.
What's the website called again?
StarCityGames.com.
StarCityGames, yeah, good, yeah. This
very nice.
Like the marketing manager too.
I think Evan wants that job.
Sorry. Joking.
So you come up with the list. Did you work on it with anyone, or is this just a pure Gerard brew like we've seen with your Sultai deck you won the DC Open with?
Pretty much, I think I just worked on it by myself. Again, my friend Alan Jackson, he's like kind of my coach when it comes to building decks and Magic in general. And he had some input, but overall I kind of just play tested it a bit. And I came up to this kind of conclusion, but also I definitely have to give credit to all the readers because you guys posted your comments in the chat, and Dragonlord Atarka was a new addition to the deck. Yeah, based on that. And Ali Antrazi also thought the card was great, and it turned out to be like, I think this is like one of the best cards from the new set. Yeah.
From Dragons of Tarkir.
It's like on the same power level as Hornequeen, and Hornequeen is so good. So that's why I did the split of 1-on-1. Yeah.
Now, what kind of draws you to a Jund shell? You know, what makes this better or worse, in certain situations over the other decks you like to play?
Okay, so with like Sultai, it's basically the same base, but the blue gives you more card advantage, and the red gives you more pressure. But it also gives you good card advantage with Outpost Siege. I think people really undervalue how good Outpost Siege is, and I think it's basically close to the same level as a Treasure Cruise or Dig Through Time. Just because instead of only getting that one time, Dig Through Time, Outpost Siege, once it hits play, and if you could cast it on the third turn with Sylvan Caryatid, you're always going to have more card advantage and more pressure.
So your card advantage here, you got Outpost Siege and Xenagos sorta, whereas the other decks did Dig Through Time, Treasure Cruise, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and you still have card advantage with Sidisi, with Tassiger, and with your upper planeswalkers, or even with Whipper Arabos. That card's just a really good card advantage, especially if you're able to whip back the Atarka or whip back Hornequeen. The one change that I made from the article, I cut the red-black commands. I think it's Kolaghan command. I cut both of those. I think they might just be too low impact, but I think that card's probably awesome in Modern because there's a lot of affinity running around, and you could kill a Ravager or something. Yeah.
So you've got all your one-of targets that we've seen Reed just show the power of the Undead Vizier here. You also got some fun stuff in the sideboard. Another Dragon Lord, the Kolagon himself.
Yeah, this
or
one
herself,
I think
I'm sorry.
is awesome in the sideboard, just because in some matchups it's not the best. Say against like Esper, for example. Even though it's a 6/5 flying haste, they do have the Slum Guard, which is a 3/7.
Right.
So I moved it to the sideboard. I wouldn't mind having a second in the sideboard. It's really good in like the mid-range matchups or against Green White Devotion, because they're going to clog up the board and you could just fly over.
Right.
So that's going to be really good. And then of course you have your Bio Blights and Drown in
Yeah.
Sorrows for the aggressive decks. Reclamation Stages, just because Reed did so well with the Sultai Whip deck, I figured some people would play it. And then you have some Read the Bones and Nissa. So I'm sure there could be other cards from the new set. Ali Antrazi, he's a good friend of mine and just a great player in general. He suggested the 5 mana 5/3 flyer. Maybe we could bring it up on the screen.
Okay.
Right over here.
Yeah, you're talking about the one with dash, right?
No, not the one with dash. It's 5 mana 5/3 flyer. It's red green, and for 3 mana you deal 1 damage to everything on the ground.
Okay.
And for 3 mana you deal 1 thing to everything in the air.
Right.
Do you know this card? Just
I
say
know
yes.
it. Yes.
Okay, but we don't know that name right now.
It's escaping me right
Yeah,
now.
but that card's really good because you're able to, once you get the 6 mana, you could kill all the opponent's manifest creatures. Clean up like a Voyaging Satyr or a Elvish Mystic. But what's also cool about that card is that it dodges Valorous Stance because it's a 5/3. So that card might be good in the sideboard. I didn't try it out, and I ended up not going with it this weekend. But I could see maybe if I do well with this Jund deck, or if you guys do well with it, try that card out.
Speaking of cards I can't remember at the moment, there's another 5/3 that could have also gone in the shell that I was thinking of with Dash, the one that has the drawback that it hurts you in your upkeep as a card to apply pressure with. But the one you're talking about seems very good.
Sure,
The new cards are tough to bring to mind right now. But we'll pull it up on screen. We'll make sure we figure it out.
We'll figure it out for you guys. But overall I think Jund is definitely a good choice. A lot of people haven't really been talking about it. And the other cool thing about Jund is that it doesn't have a tri-land, which some people might say, oh, that sucks, it doesn't have a tri-land, or that's unfortunate. But it just allows you to play more temples. And going back, maybe I kind of want to play more temples. I believe I have 9 temples right now, and I wouldn't mind going up to 10 or maybe even 11, because I think the scry effect is so powerful, and I don't know if people realize how good that really is.
Yeah, it's very powerful. Well, Gerard, the deck looks awesome. Thanks for sitting down with me here on the sideboard.
No problem. Did you want me to do the bullying rap now? Is that what you just said?
Oh, no.
Okay,
we don't need that yet.
Yeah, we're going to build a lot of hype for it.
You got the production coming out.
The production is coming
ready
for the anti-bullying rap. Check out Patrick Chapin's raps, and it's the same producer.
Right.
Yeah, it could happen. No promises. But Jund's happening now.
Bringing the awesome Jund tech, stumping me with the card names, not in jail. Stay tuned to the StarCityGames.com Open
Nick
Series
Miller, I'll see you.
for all the action here in Syracuse.